We engage with our farmers 3 times a day. Maybe a dairy farmer from New York at breakfast, a Texan grain farmer at lunch, and a Georgian poultry farmer at dinner. But are their farming methods helping protect our planet? Over the past century, farms have gotten bigger and faster, but efficiency came with a cost. Researchers estimate food systems now account for 1/3 of global greenhouse gases. Farms extracted as much as they could from the soil, but not without consequence. Our climate is bringing longer droughts, stronger rainstorms, and rising temperatures faster than our farms can adapt. But some farmers believe there's a solution to the crisis. One not invented in a lab or a chemical plant. Could the answer be hidden right beneath our feet?
All right, who else is joining us today? Steven?
Steven's right here.
Steven's back. Big push today. We're gonna be doing some carrots and beets this week again on a big scale. Hey, Ellie.
Yeah?
You don't need cherries today?
Well, you guys picked so many.
When you touch the soil, there's a healing process that happens between soil and humans. For us, more than just touching the soil, farmers have to look at your land and be like, what is it telling you? What kind of weeds are growing? And then based on that, see how we can improve the health of that soil. We've been around for almost 10 years. We stopped using the plow to turn the soil or no-till. We're just trying to create a farm that's more resilient. The soil can hold life, and if the soil holds life, it's easier for growing produce and healthier produce.
Young farmers are imagining farming their entire lives in climate change conditions. They're already experiencing climate change on their farms.
We can have 45 days of 100-degree weather, and then we can have like 60-degree weather. We have 50-degree, 60-degree swings, which makes it really hard for certain crops. You know, the crops are like all happy, and then all of a sudden, like the sun comes out, and you're like, whoa, what just happened?
They're thinking about conservation in the way that they're building their businesses. They're, capturing that water in the soil to be prepared for hotter, drier times.
The beds that we didn't bring the tractor and not really disturbing the soil that much, leaving a little bit of the roots in there. When it hit the 123 degree, they were more resilient to that heat, and we didn't lose a lot of crops. That soil had a lot of cushion, it had a lot of forgiveness because you've been taking care of it.
Regenerative agriculture is an indigenous practice of farming in a way that improves the land that we interact with. I can't just be taking as much as possible for me. I need to be thinking about how do I leave this soil and this land better than how I found it.
Take care of your soil, take care of your place, and it'll take care of you.
All right, peppers, and then you need 25 more pounds of onions.
We grow a variety of like 50 to 60 different vegetable crops. The more diversified your farm is, the more resilient it becomes. So if one fails, we move on to the next one. This field has been like almost 5 years in no-till production. We haven't disturbed the soil for that much. We just keep kind of increasing the biomass on the soil. It stays really well moist. It has really good sponge, it has good microorganisms.
No-till is a practice of not disturbing the soil structure. So rather than digging down and turning the soil over, we layer on top of the soil, adding compost, adding mulch such as wood chips, straw, hay, leaves, or a fabric mulch. The problem, of course, with tilling is that it destroys the soil structure, which makes it really hard for soil organisms to survive. It's kind of like if someone took your whole house, turned it upside down, and shook it. It's the same thing with soil organisms. If you destroy their house, they spend all their time rebuilding their house, and they're not doing the job of the soil food web.
When you leave things in the ground, you start creating a microbiome of living creatures in there, communicating between top and bottom, and there's nutrients flowing between back and forth, and little organisms eating other organisms. There's like a big big plethora of little things happening. Come over here. Let's go take a look at one of the best co-workers we have on the farm.
Whoa!
Look at that.
I hate worms. Hey, can I hold it? Can I hold it?
Yeah, you can hold a worm. Who knows why these little friends are the best co-workers on the farm?
Because they dig it.
Yeah, because they help the soil. These worms are gonna eat all this. All right, little friends, which soil looks more healthy? This one or this one?
No, not that one.
This one won't hold water. There's nothing alive. But this one, look, you press and it's smooshy. It's not wet, not too wet. So this is what the worms do. They make the perfect soil for the farm. When I was a kid, I was a very rowdy kid, so they always sent me with my grandma. Spending a few years with my grandma really started developing in me, you know, that little bug of like producing food and participating in food and have a passion for even making food. Growing up in Sinaloa, when conventional farming came in and chemicals and genetic modified seeds replaced all the smart farms, I saw how the soil in the valley just reduced their health. Farming seemed to be the next step that is fixing a problem rather than complain about the problem. Farming was always a part of a solution for the crisis that the world can face.
Our food and agriculture system is the result of decades of federal farm policy that has incentivized industrialization and consolidation in agriculture.
With industrial and corporate ag, they're really prioritizing efficiency. While the yields from a system like this over a one-year time span certainly outperform regenerative and organic, as soon as you take a step back and look at a 5-year or more time span, you'll see that this system is not very resilient. If there's a drought, if there's a flood, a hurricane, heat wave, a pest outbreak, that system starts to break down because it has such a narrow margin of conditions in which it can be successful.
The federal government has a huge impact on agriculture by incentivizing certain practices. Crop insurance is supporting the commodification of agriculture. It's much easier for a farmer to apply for crop insurance for 1,000 acres of corn than it is for a farmer who is growing 60 different vegetables, has cows, both dairy and a beef herd on their operation. We need federal farm policy that doesn't encourage farmers to get big or get out, but to diversify and build resiliency in the face of change.
When we think about a climate unstable world and we think about needing resilient systems, regenerative not only can feed the world, but it will be necessary to feed the world because these industrial food systems are not flexible or adaptive enough to deal with the impact that humans are having on the earth and the repercussions of that.
You're just gonna go, guys, like this, very gentle. One thing that you learn as a farmer is that sometimes you won't see the outcome of your seed. You're planting seeds and you're hoping to get something 80 days later, 100 days later, 120 days later. So we as farmers are very good at understanding that the change that we want to see, we might not see it in the next 10 years, but we're okay being the seed that puts the change over there. And eventually it's going to turn into something really positive.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.